Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here. I was just thinking about how it must be that all the people on earth, and out of all the people on earth, there was a group of people who decided that they would have no other authority above themselves. And yet they would take that authority that they have given themselves and rule over others by taking away their authority and justified it by saying it is the permission and order of Lord God Almighty to do these things. And in their efforts to pretend and act like God, they exploit, they manipulate, they deceive, they do whatever is necessary to make them more dependent above everybody else. And that ends up being individually and collectively. And this is what we have as human beings been uh, had at our front every day of our lives. And then someone came along like Jesus Christ and told us, hey, that's deception. You don't know the truth. These guys are using you. The world is using you because they don't know God. I come to tell you, I'm God's son. I got connection with God. In other words, I got some abilities that you got too, but you don't know you got them because you don't have the connection with God. So watch me. And he came through the world just like the rest of us, according to the story, and did just like the rest of us, represented all that is good. And in the end, they were ready to take his life. It reminds me of Martin Luther King, who came along imitating as best he could Jesus. And just as it happened to Jesus, it happened to Martin Luther King, which made it real. It took away any doubt. It was the evidence that when you do good things, this is what would happen. At the same time, they had Malcolm X, who was doing good things, but to some people, it was bad things because of the strategy that he would use. Didn't make any difference. They took him out too. So it makes it seem as if it doesn't matter whether you do good or bad. You got to give up control to the powers that be. And the powers that be means operating within the system. And the system in America is white supremacy. But I'm not just saying this because I personally believe, I don't know if I don't have evidence except what I see and what I've seen in my lifetime, which makes me think this is not new, which tells me that every group of people have been a slave at one time or another. I don't know how long existence has been here, but it's been long enough. Every group of people have been in slavery at one time. They've been exploited, and every last one of them don't ever want to be back there again. The trouble is they don't know how to prevent that from happening. They killed Jesus, who was saying one thing, and Martin and Malcolm X. I just say Malcolm X because a lot of people want to look at Malcolm X negatively. A lot of them don't, but a lot of them do. So I use uh, and you look at that and you see it doesn't matter. So what is the missing link? Every human being wants the same thing. That's a satisfied life. Now, when Jesus' message to the human race was this, that you are not really responsible for the collective unless the collective is aligned with truth. If the collective is not aligned with truth, you're only responsible to yourself. You are the captain of you. Every individual, listen up. You are the captain of you. You run you. Everything is about you with you. When you look inside of yourself, you are the captain. Nobody else is your captain. No one. Now, when the collective come together, make a decision, and that collective is in alignment with truth, then you are automatically a part of it because that's what you represent. But if it is not representative of truth, that means works for everybody, then it is the duty and responsibility of the change person to act accordingly. So the work is never done until it works for everyone. Now, when everybody individually, make a decision that you want to go along with the government, for instance, let's use America since I'm in the United States of America. When the government makes a decision, the people are held accountable for that decision. That's why they got representatives in Congress to speak for them. But when you get people in Congress in positions of power that go around Congress and do whatever they want to do, and it is not in alignment with what the collective have organized or designed, and it's just out there on its own, well, it's out there on its own. But the truth of it is, it's still dependent upon each and every last one of you. How do you respond? You're the captain of your ship. You're the captain of this flight. Where do you go? Where do you put your support? This is a decision you have to make. Jesus says, this is what Jesus says. Jesus says, do the right thing. And when he'd say, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you, I'm going to show you something that the rest of them couldn't show you. Watch them kill me. I'm going to take the killing. So if I take the killing, if I take being killed, you can take being killed because this is what comes with freedom. This is the acknowledgement that you make to the world that you understand freedom. You have and are connected with the truth. And so dying like this is nothing but an expression to the whole entire human race that this is real. Then Jesus said, but watch this. Jesus said, but watch this. And then they put him in the grave. Okay. And what happens? They say he rose from the dead and walked amongst the people and said to all of the world, you see what I'm saying? The God that made the universe, that made the earth that you're on, that gave all the resources, that made you, that made it possible for you to exercise your life here. You, as an individual, can maintain that freedom as long as you are connected with God. That means, again, if your system is aligned with God, then you are aligned with your system. If your system is not aligned with God, then you are not aligned with your system. You are aligned with God. Therein is your freedom. You don't have to just be over there with these people doing, and this system they're doing all kind of thing that you don't like, going through all that stress and stuff. No, you just stand up for what is you. What does your God say about it? Does your God say it's okay to do that? Or does your God say no? And who are you going to listen to? We'll know by what you do. We'll know exactly what God you're listening to. That's your responsibility as an individual. And if none of this all around you aligns with God, the God that you are not ashamed of, a God that loves not only you but everybody, a God that is not just prepared for you but prepared for everybody on earth to enjoy this life, then hey, what other kind of God would you want to deal with? And Jesus says, check this out. He rose from the dead. Now I think in a couple of days they're going to be celebrating Jesus' resurrection. They call it Easter. Now, what does that mean to all of the people that didn't even know that they were captains of their own ship, that had given Well, all power to others for whatever they decide. Figured they had no power. Bought into whatever lie they've ever been told. But they'll be in church talking about Jesus, talking about He risen. So, with all of that knowledge, knowing that human beings can live on earth, that they can walk according to the dictates of their own heart and be kept joyously because they are connected with the truth. And they don't care what you say, because nothing that they're doing it hurts you or hurting anybody. And this is how they glorify God. Knowing that people who can't stand that will take their lives. And knowing that this is a price that they're real. They're willing to pay the price and let the world know that they're real. Let the world know before I listen to this hell, before I watch you abuse people the way you're abusing people, get me out of this because I am not taking it. I am not taking it. And that's the only way you can make me shut up is to get me out of here. So that's your next job. And so they're calling, hey, take me out. I want heaven to know that I ain't for this BS. No, I'm not for it. Wow. Now can you imagine what freedom that gives everybody on earth to know that, hey, stand up for what's right, stand up for what's right. And if you always been scared of dying, but now if they take your life because you're standing up for what's right. And see, the good thing about it is this, is once you make that step and you are real, for real. I'm not talking about just make that step just to see that you bold enough, that you audacious enough to take that step. I'm talking about being for real. I'm talking about really caring, crying when you see others cry, shouting when you see others excited. That's when you really care. Then when you're taking this walk, there's something about this walk that the world can't give and the world can't take away. There's joy in this walk. There's joy in knowing that you're doing the right thing. There is joy in knowing that you're willing to take punishment for doing the right thing. There is absolute joy. Now, what I'm saying to you got to sound crazy, but that's because you're not there. But once you get there, wow. And if you get off that track again, it's because you deliberately decided that you're going to step off that track for whatever reason. That's on you, anybody. But you do know the way, and it is the only way, and that's God's way. You can learn it, or you can go your way. I don't know what the end going to be, but I know one thing. There is another way. All right, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this your time. Until next, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.